It's like someone's hands. There's like chicken
Pick
pox and a Ford
Pickford.
truck.
Nope.
Pickford. That's pretty good though.
Pickford.
That's
It's
how's it
It's
not
not.
Pickford?
It's not Pickford.
it's not.
Uh,
Chickenpox, eczema,
warts,
bites, mosquito, eczema,
eczema.
rash, Rashford.
Rashford. Okay, Enzo's got it. Hello, welcome to episode 92 of Draft Offsides. I'm with Tico and Enzo. My name is Keith, and boy, do we have so much great content for you today.
Oh my god, that was great.
How was that?
fucking-
That sounded good?
Yeah, that was good. It
Was
was
that
a little bit fake, but yeah,
Definitely a little fake.
yeah, definitely a little bit fake, but it's all right.
Okay. Was it better than me just being like
Yeah, it was definitely
Igor?
better. Oh yeah, it was definitely
For
bit,
being-
mellow and
Yeah, it
dramatic.
was a little melodramatic last week. Okay. So we're gonna start with some just random news and go into some transfer stuff, and then just take some questions and play some kind of fantasy adjacent games. Does
Yeah.
that sound like a good episode for you guys? All right, first thing, Nations League just wrapped up. Ronaldo got a goal. Portugal won. Do you think anyone cared other than like it's one of those things where it's the perfect tournament of like if your team wins, it's a big deal. If your team doesn't win, nobody cares, right?
Can I be honest? I didn't even
Yeah.
realize it was the final.
Yeah.
I wasn't even following Nations League this year. Didn't realize it was final.
I actually realized this is the final during the semifinals.
Yeah, me too. Same. I didn't. Yeah, but like the semifinals kind of went hard. Like the games were good games, so that made me a little more interested. But it's too many games, man.
Keith, to answer what the question you asked, if like people care if like the country wins in it or not, Thomas Mueller, who is a fucking amazing, he has this quote about the Nations League. He says only the Netherlands and Portugal take the Nations League seriously.
Kind of, but I think Spain cared.
Well, I think
Spain final.
I think Spain care because they're so young too. Like such a young team,
True.
and they want to win everything. And they just came off the back of the Euros. And don't get wrong, from what I saw from the game, it looked like very intense. Like they were both going for it.
Yeah, it totally was. And like Spain was totally in the ascendancy Portugal started really strong and Spain was really good. It just was very back and forth and fun and two different styles.
It was a very good final.
Yeah, two different styles. It was fun. And I kind of love seeing Ronaldo just have a good game, and then Yamal. Like, not that I'm rooting against Yamal because he's amazing, and if you love soccer, you love him. But even if you don't necessarily, not
you
a
respect
person,
it.
Yeah, you respect it. But it was nice to see like the old guy put the young guy in his place a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see when they were like doing the guard of honor for Spain to go through? Ronaldo extended his hand to like shake Yamal's hand, and he kind of turned away and just gave him like a high five.
I didn't see it.
Do you think that motivated Ronaldo?
That was after the game, so I'm sure there will be.
Yeah,
I'm sure there will be some like interview with Pierce, whatever his name is, Ronaldo talking about it. But no, it was great to see. Like literally, like 5 minutes before the goal, announcers were saying, "Oh, take Ronaldo off. He hasn't done anything." But to me, he's a player he's like become the greatest poacher of all time. So
yeah, he's just become a goal scorer.
Yeah.
938 now is his total. So he's just
crazy.
That much closer to 1,000.
And
cool.
He confirmed his going back to Al Nassr.
I saw that. I was talking shit and I was totally wrong. So.
And he's decided not to play in the FIFA Club World Cup, which makes sense because the tournament starts in 2 weeks. The players are going to be fucking crazy.
I'm worried about a lot of these guys that are playing in the Club World Cup, just like for next year, fantasy. Like it's like imagine playing in literally like they're going to like a World Cup essentially. Like they're going to play that many games potentially.
Like look at Vitinha, who played in the Champions League final, the Club Nations League final, and now he's going to start Club World Cup. So this guy has like maybe a week and a half off.
And Mendes.
Yeah.
Mendes, yeah.
I mean, Cole Palmer played in the Europa final, played in the friendlies this week. I mean, there's a lot of guys. It's not just.
And we're concerned about next season, but I'm also concerned about the World Cup in 2 years with the amount of games that they're not going to have a break for 2 years straight. Like, what's the quality going to be like?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little concerning, and I think we're going to see young guys breaking down at a younger age. Well, I think like the peak of players' careers might be a little bit earlier in their career because they just start to break down physically.
So there was a study done on that a couple of years ago, starting with Rafael Varane, who retired at a very young age and his body broke down. And they're saying Jude Bellingham is at risk of the same thing because he's only 21 and has played so many professional matches.
So it's like Yamal.
Bukayo Saka, Phil Foden, like you see these guys, like knock on wood with Saka that these injuries this doesn't become an ongoing thing. But like that's like the biggest fear is that like he was so healthy and so good for so many years. He's already played so many minutes, but maybe at 23, 24, he already starts to break down as you would as like a 28, 29-year-old.
I think
You know,
the thing we've got a history of it too. Michael Owen was a big case that when he came in.
and how old is he? How old was he when he started?
He was 17.
Yeah. So I mean, Wayne Rooney is another one.
And Wayne Rooney's another one. Yeah, they ended early.
He got fat.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, one of the positives of COVID that no one talks about is the rule changed for 5 substitutions.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's true.
That's only been positive for the game. It's been like slightly a negative for like the lower teams because they just don't have the depth bench, you know. So like the bigger teams can bring on more players that can affect the game, but I think in general it's probably better.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, Lamine Yamal, we were talking about him briefly. Ballon d'Or. Do you think this put that conversation to bed? This final?
I don't think it puts it to bed. I think it's still up there. But Dembele wasn't in the final. You know what I mean?
I just feel like I have a really hard time thinking about giving the Ballon d'Or to an attacking winger who's only had 9 goals and 13 assists in his league campaign.
And he's not even the best player on his team.
Yeah. Like I know he had some big moments and I mean I think he's one of the best players in the world. I'm not hating, but I'm just thinking that like that seems like that's a little bit of an overhype situation.
But let's just say it for what it is. It's a vote.
Yeah,
it's a vote.
It is a vote. And but it's a French thing. So don't you think that Dembele might get a little more weight? Might be rigged a little bit that way.
Maybe, but then it's been a Portuguese and an Argentinian, and then one Croatian who's won it in the last 20 years,
and a Spanish player,
Rodri. That's right, last year.
They asked Mbappe who he's going to vote for, and he said, "I think it's obvious he's going to vote for Dembele." And then they asked him to clarify it. He said, "No, I think it's very obvious. It doesn't even need clarification. That's how clear cut it is for him." Which obviously
Dembele,
the French connection and also Barcelona. But no, I mean, he's had a great campaign started from obviously the Euros where they won it. But even the Euros when people were talking about Nico Williams was the most talked about player on that Spanish team.
He was pretty exciting. But they both were.
I don't think we can say that one was more than the other because especially in the final, I know Nico Williams scored in the final, but big part of that was Lamine Yamal.
Yeah, but I do feel like Lamine Yamal has an amazing PR team right now, and he's also right now the most expensive player in the world at 200 million.
And also, I mean, he's amazing. Like some of the goals he scored, he's pretty.
It's amazing.
It's fucking amazing goal. It's okay. Tico's gonna downplay him
but
for
it's like a lot of. He's kind of like a clip. It's not a clip merchant, but he's definitely like the goals he scores. If you clip them together, you'd be like, this guy's unbelievable. But clearly, 9 goals, 13 assists in 37 games or whatever. It's just they're not. It's not at that highest echelon of numbers, especially when you have Rafinha on that team who scored how many goals and has how many goal contributions. So it's a
Champions League in assists, goals, goal contribution.
Yeah.
Honestly, like when I saw it's 9 goals, 13 assists, I'm like, the way they talk about this kid, it's like he's having like a 30-30 season.
But he's also, I mean, it is amazing to be doing that at 17.
At 17.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
He's
it is
17.
Unbelievable. But it kind of reminds me of, remember when Holland scored, like broke the record in England and did all these things, and then they gave the Ballon d'Or to Messi, and it like the World Cup technically shouldn't have even counted for that year, and they still gave it to him.
Yep.
That to me, since then, I've really had the Ballon d'Or doesn't really mean much to me.
It's just a vote.
But I in the same way, like I just don't think that I don't think they'll give it to Lamine Yamal yet. I think it's like
he's got an MVP award doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Okay, next thing. Do we care about the Club World Cup? I feel like we've been like dancing around it. I tried to get us to get tickets. You guys were both very non-committal, and so as a result, I'm not going now. So does that mean we just don't care? What? It's at the. You don't want to go because it's at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, I don't want to sit under the sun for like.
Yeah, there's like no cover, no shade.
I would have brought. I could have brought you an umbrella, Tika. We could have protected that head of yours.
It's gonna. The sun might have shined off of it and mess with the gameplay.
You have to reapply a fucking suntan like every 5 minutes over there. It's gonna be ridiculous.
Put on suntan lotion.
I was looking. I think tickets now are starting to get egregiously expensive.
Yeah,
I think there was a window where it was like kind of okay, but now, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it would have been fun. I think it would have been fun to watch Atletico PSG. I think that would have been a fun game.
That would have been a fun game to watch.
I think
if it was at SoFi.
I think we would have a lot of fun watching that game at a bar.
That too. I'm up for something like that too. It's on Father's Day though. That's the one round.
You know what kills me here, and maybe it might be different because this is like a really it seemed because of the money is a bigger tournament. But going to games out here, don't get me wrong, there are real fans in the stadiums, but then you just get a bunch of people that just show up to watch a game.
Yeah, you know what the hardest thing is when I went to that I went to the Fox and Hound. I went to like a local Chelsea bar for the final, whatever. I don't even know the tournaments, not you
conference.
Conference League final, and just listening to fans that are obviously like they're like diehard, hardcore fans. You know, they have like they're there every week, but they just the things they're screaming are such like U.S. like cheer things.
Seattle!
Like, get that ball, like chase it, like kick it, like it's just like you guys. It's just sometimes so hard to listen to some people talk about
Like
soccer that you know haven't really.
They've been a diehard fan for a year,
or even if they've been a fan for longer, they're just their knowledge of the game. They just don't quite understand that, like you know, like, how could you miss that shot? It's like, bro, he's running full speed and the ball's coming across midair. It's like literally like the physics are impossible.
It's funny when you say that because it's like the idea that when you see like a cross-field ball pass, and no one seems to understand how hard that is.
Well, to hit that, then everything is so difficult.
Yeah, hit it behind the defender.
You
into
guys
his
sound
path.
such assholes.
We sound like assholes?
Such assholes.
Really?
Talking down on the average person who just wants to follow the team.
No, I don't have any issue with that. I have an issue with them being like getting upset or like some of the things we're cheering that just feel so like not like. Just not
I get it. You could tell when they watch, they don't understand a lot of it, and they've never played. It's it's like.
Okay. Maybe you're kind of right. Maybe we're being
get
a
off
little
your high
sloppy.
horse.
Okay. Keep. Don't let him get to you. We didn't sound like assholes. We were just staying a fan.
One of you sounded a Conference League champion asshole. The other one sounded like a Europa champion asshole.
Okay, fine. He's just mad because we have trophies and he doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah.
Okay. The last thing about this, did you guys hear that the opening game is in Miami? And they were initially selling tickets for like 300 something, and they couldn't sell out the stadium. So now they've dropped. They've cut slash prices like 50.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
No, it's not. But it is. It's crazy, but it's not. But it's understandable.
Well, also it's the team they're playing. Ali.
It's like one of the Saudi teams.
Yeah.
I mean,
who's on that team though? I bet you there's someone we know on that team.
I'm sure there is.
No, it's an Egyptian team.
Oh. Yeah.
Probably not then.
Nope.
Yeah.
Maybe Salah's cousin or something.
There's a Mohammed Salah.
Jesus Christ.
What?
Okay. Should we get into transfers? Is that the end of news?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. First one. First big transfer news, Arsenal.
I'm sorry. I like that.
And the news is, where are all the transfers?
Yeah. Well, they got one rumor that I like for him, and it's between two players, but I think they're pushing towards one. And I think I put it at the very bottom of this was Sesko and Gyokeres. I think they're leaning more towards Sesko.
I've been seeing that too. I'm really intrigued by Sesko. I know when we were doing that Euro fantasy league, last year, I was pretty interested in him.
Yep.
And he seemed pretty good, but it was also very frustrating because he was just on a team that he wasn't getting a lot of service.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to judge, how he is. But
at club level,
that'd be good. Yeah. At club level for Leipzig, and it'll just be interesting to see how he can adjust. And was Gyokeres the other one?
Yep.
Sesko and Gyokeres.
And he's the one that's in Portugal.
Yeah. And then the Zubimendi thing is really weird to me. That seems like it's been all but confirmed. And then Zubimendi came out and said essentially like, oh, like nothing's set in stone yet. And I would, Real Madrid's my dream or something.
Yeah.
Which is weird. That would really piss me off if I was
But Real Madrid already said they didn't want him. Right?
Yeah.
I haven't heard much rumors around them. So yeah, no.
It just feels like a weird maneuver. But I would be pissed if I was an Arsenal fan for that reason. But.
Oh yeah. Are they going to the Club World Cup?
No, you gotta
win something.
You gotta win Champions League.
Okay.
Or do better.
So far, we just heard the players left, right? They just let a couple of players go, no signings whatsoever.
It looks like what's his name's leaving? The Ukrainian Zinchenko, and then Jorginho left. Cutting some of the older guys, which just makes sense.
Yeah.
I think what's nice for them is that they have the luxury of they're not going to the World Cup, so they don't need to get players in before.
Not right now, but you see, there's a few teams that are getting the job done early, like Liverpool and Man City.
Yeah,
they're getting the job done early,
but they're also going to the Club World Cup.
Yeah,
so I think it'll be interesting. I think Arsenal. I think for me, what it is that after a season that you wouldn't call disappointing for Arsenal, but after a season like they had, and with the clear and obvious gaps in their team that they need. It would have been a really good emotional thing for them to sign someone pretty quickly.
Yeah, in this tiny transfer window.
Yeah, and the fact that they haven't, I feel like there's probably anxiety building, and I see it on like Twitter and X from like the big like Arsenal influencers. It feels like they're just like getting slightly anxious about like the window and like kind of cracking jokes on their own behalf, but kind of interesting. Okay, more transfer news. Jamie Gittins rumored to Chelsea. I was not like, I think his goal return is not huge. You know, I think he's young, but I think he had like 8 goals, 3 assists in the Bundesliga last year. Not like spectacular numbers. I think in general, like from a fantasy perspective, like I think like Chelsea wingers are like a little touch and go.
Yeah,
You
well,
know?
we just got rid of Sancho,
Yeah, well, yeah. Sancho's not going to be
so
there
that's
anymore.
a spot he could take.
Yeah, Mudrik's not there, so we definitely need left wingers.
Yeah,
Madueke can play in that position. Clearly, he played there for England and looked pretty good.
Mhm.
He's played there for us and looked good. And then, obviously we have Pedro Neto, and then we have that new guy Estavio coming in, the Brazilian.
Yep.
But yeah, so Gittins, I'm just not like, I'm not like
From a draft
jumping.
standpoint, I agree.
I'm not
get
jumping
you.
at the bit there, but it's
No.
interesting. And who knows if it even happens? Apparently, they want a lot of money for him, and Chelsea's being a little doesn't want to do that.
They're like, we're not that Chelsea no more.
Yeah, I've changed. You know.
I've changed. I'm not that guy. Yeah, right.
Yeah, we'll see. They might need to go through a window of like not spending some money just to prove to people, you know, because until then, people are just gonna call their bluff.
Okay, well, Man United can't seem to do that, and they've been doing,
Well, Man United. Oh yeah, true. What about Man City? How good is that Ryan Shirky business? What 36 mil with 6 million add on?
Dude, I think they only got was it Reindeer for like 40 million?
Reinders.
Reinders for like
Yeah,
Reindeer, sorry. Reinders for like 40
Yeah.
million.
no, it's super. Both deals are super impressive and getting them done. It sounds like Shirky's going to be done today, or before the Club World Cup at least.
Didn't he already get
And-
signed? I thought he got
Reindeer.
Fabrizio said, "Here we go."
I think here we go, but not confirmed.
Okay,
Like, is that good enough? Is Fabrizio?
yeah,
That's good enough. Yeah.
That's good
Good
enough.
enough. Okay, so I was looking at Shirky. I broke it down. So 8 goals, 11 assists in 30 appearances.
Mhm.
So which would roughly be in like with all his stats, he's roughly at like 13.5 points per game,
Mm.
which is solid. And I was having a hard time doing points per start, like the breakdown there from the average just from
Yeah,
what I had. But it would be like he'd be like top 15, in 30 games, like really solid numbers. And I'm curious. I don't know. I'm very interested. I think he's pretty interesting to me.
well, he's what kind of he's a midfielder, right? Does he take that sort of? Is he going to take away
KDB.
from KDB? But is he going to take away from Foden? We just mentioned that we think Foden might have a great year next year.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very possible. It's gonna be. And Pep, Pep is so difficult
Yeah, he is.
to know what he's gonna do. Like, it's
Yeah.
not it's not like there's this fixed thing that he does, and he's so fickle too. Like, you've seen him like throw new signings in right away, and you've seen him like wait like weeks or months before he starts playing new signings too.
Yeah.
And even if he throws them in right away, like the way Savio started from day one, Doku started initially, eventually they got benched. So with KDB leaving and also Bernardo Silva, you would think like Foden, Marmoush, Savio, Doku, and now him, it's going to be like a cluster mess. And Rodri coming back. So what we talked about, do you want to be on that roller coaster of Man City? Just added one more.
One more piece, but it's also like a high risk, high reward. You know what I mean? Because the points when they start games, you're jumping at the bit.
I was going to say Man City could bounce back. I know we said this last year, but I think Man City can bounce back this season with the players they're buying. It looks all
Absolutely.
amazing. So could they be like that? Who was the top team with points per team, like per player? Was it Liverpool?
It was
Fulham.
Liverpool, and then
no,
Fulham.
Yeah.
So couldn't Man City take over that Liverpool spot and their players be the top scorers?
No, because I think
No.
that was about consistency of lineup.
It's
Oh.
if the more players you have, the lower the point.
So I bet you City was actually pretty low on that list.
Yeah.
Like
And they're probably-
comparatively for the fact that how many
Yeah.
points they score.
I think probably for future episodes when we do previews, we should have like just a ranking system amongst the midfielders because it'd be interesting how.
Truly. But it's also interesting. So like Reinders comes into the team as well,
Mhm.
and so he had 10 goals, 4 assists for AC Milan last season, which
Numbers.
is not bad numbers for
Yeah.
a guy who plays because he doesn't play in like the 10 like KDB does. He plays in more like a 6 double pivot. So I think he's going to be more like the Gunderlin,
To Rodri.
type role.
Well, I
So-
think remember they bought Nico Gonzalez last year.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's right.
Didn't
Didn't work
have
out.
that
out.
great of a year, so it might be like between those two.
Yeah, I mean, but they're all there now too. I think it's just
Yeah.
depth, and maybe Reinders can play a little bit higher up sometimes. I think, I mean, with Foden and Cherki and those other guys, I feel like that's going to be.
Could you Is there a world where Reinders
Reinders.
and not Reinders and who's the other centre back? Not Rodri.
The other Nico Gonzalez.
Nico Gonzalez plays in the double pivot, and then Rodri plays a little bit further up from him.
I don't see that world.
No?
I think Roger, you want him sitting. You want him in that space, but maybe. I mean, Pep's crazy.
Yeah, Pep is crazy.
Pep is just absolute wild card.
I think Rodri might play more further back with the center backs because everyone is young, so it'd be easier for them like to control the ball pace and beat the high press.
Yeah, I think it's more likely he drops into that, and they let the other new signing they have, Mid City Ryan Nori, who now is officially confirmed, him start bombing down the wings.
God damn.
What do we think about him in general? Are we excited?
He's been solid at Wolves, and he's had good numbers. You guys have said it, right?
I've always loved when he looks. I thought he's always looked so good. So
I think he'll work at this Man City team.
I think next year he'll be top 5 to 7 defender.
Yeah, I mean, I think very likely. I think the only thing against would be if it doesn't start games at City.
Yeah. So I looked at the clean sheets. City had 5 more clean sheets. That's 30 more points throughout the year, which will take him up, I think, like number 6 in total points amongst defenders for this year.
Just from that, and that's without being on a better team, creating more opportunities, this and that.
They had a game where they gave up 6 goals. That's negative 10 in goal points only. Jesus. So take away all of those. I think that's why I think as long as he starts, he'll be top 5 in total points.
And that's a concern, right? Is that as long as he starts, because at Wolves, you knew every game he was healthy, he was going to play. I mean, Vardiol can play there, and what's his name? The young kid that was playing there the second half of the season as well. I know he's technically more of a midfielder. O'Reilly.
O'Reilly.
I know he's more of a midfielder, but clearly he can do a job there.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I'm just not that I'm
not 100% sold until we see. But
yeah,
where would you draft him?
I still think I take the 3 guys that we've talked about ahead of him, just for that concern. So it's Porro, Munoz, and Robinson. I think just because they're going to be playing, especially Munoz and Robinson, they're going to be playing.
So what round? 5th round?
Something like that. I think that's pretty reasonable.
Mm-hmm. Someone's going to take a risk on that 4.
I think a lot of these City guys, I think people are going to. They're the high risk, high reward,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think this kind of got debunked today, but I just wanted to talk about because it was really funny that there were rumors that Tottenham were hijacking the Mbeumo deal.
Yeah, well,
did you like that, Enzo, when you saw that?
I like Mbeumo. I would have liked Mbeumo.
I just don't think it's gonna happen.
But I don't think it's gonna happen, especially if we don't sell Son, which I don't think at this moment Levy can do any worse than what he's already doing. He's already pissed off everybody. Half the fans.
I don't feel bad for Levy in general, but I will say there was no winning in the Ange situation.
No, there was no winning.
There's no winning.
But there was one thing he could have done different. Just fucking do it. Cut the cord. He waited.
Not wait a week.
Yeah, he waited over a week.
I think he did that because I think it would have been even more of an emotional response if he did it sooner, closer to when they got the cup. He gave everyone the time to enjoy and celebrate and calm down.
It would have been such Levy fashion though, because he fired Mourinho 5 days before a final. Why not just fire someone 1 day after, 1 or 2 days after a final?
Yeah, I don't know. But okay, so the Mbeumo thing, not happening. But that would have been cool.
But it would have been nice. It was, but I think that mostly came from Thomas Frank. Those rumors because he wanted Tottenham to rival, but he wants 150,000 a week. And I don't think
Mbeumo?
Yeah,
I think he wants 250 a week.
He wants 250 a week.
Yeah, I think Man United's willing to pay 250 a week.
Fuck me, man. Fucking, they are the Saudi of the Premiership.
That's what the joke on Twitter is instead of going to Saudi to retire, why you just go to Man United to retire?
Fuck me,
get the big paycheck and just chill out there. Okay, somewhat related, Manchester related. So Garnacho and Grealish are both going to leave their teams, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
And both of them have some suitors in the Premier League. If they were to go to another team in the Premier League, who would be good for each of them, do you guys think?
Grealish, I can't believe I'm going to say this, Man United. I think he'd do well there on the left wing, on the left forward.
But they kind of have it covered with Cunha and stuff.
But Cunha can play in the 10.
No,
what are you talking? That's the same position essentially. There's 2 10s and then the striker.
He can play there. I'm telling you, he'll do well. He'll be able to hold
I think
the ball.
Grealish could play there, but I'm saying that like I don't think Grealish wants to go somewhere where he's going to be behind someone.
I don't think he's gonna. You think he's gonna be behind? Who else is gonna be there? So it's gonna be Bruno, Cunha,
Mbeumo.
and Mbeumo. Oh, because Mbeumo's yeah. I'm not because that's not even 100% yet.
Yeah, but yeah.
Why not take Garnacho and replace him with the Son?
No, thank you. I don't.
like
Don't get it wrong. I
No.
think Garnacho is a talent. I just don't think. I don't think the Premiership's for him. I think he should just maybe go abroad.
Go to Napoli. That's
Yeah.
the rumor.
Yeah.
So for Grealish, the rumor is, I don't know if you guys saw it or not, Newcastle.
I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
I also saw Everton,
Oh,
which is interesting from the sense of like big fish, small pond. And I feel like Grealish is like the epitome of like big fish, small pond type player.
yeah.
You know?
But to me, when I looked at Newcastle, I was like, that's where Gordon plays on the left side. So how would that work? Move one of them around, maybe Murphy, put
I'd
Grealish on
like
the right
him.
side.
At Everton.
But I think both of them, if they go to Brighton, just because I feel like that's an attacking team.
Brighton, interesting.
But that's not part of their MO.
Their model.
No,
Yeah.
it's not part of their model. They just bought another young friggin' Argentinian, didn't they?
Yeah. I think Garnacho, the rumors that I've been seeing are Arsenal or Chelsea. So I think I think the Arsenal thing is that it would be interesting. And then it's a little bit better, like it gives competition to Martinelli without being like a Rodrygo type signing that's gonna be so much money that it absolutely just smothers him.
Yeah.
You know? But Grealish, I like that. I like Everton.
I like
more than
Everton.
Newcastle. Because I think Everton, it's like you're gonna be there, it's gonna be a battle, but you're gonna have this team around you and you can be like that. It's like talisman again. Because that's kind of what when he was his best, it was when he was the guy and everyone looked at him. You know?
Yeah.
I think both of them will have significant fantasy value if they go to a different team when they start.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I fully agree. Fully agree. I mean, there's a few teams where I wouldn't really be that stoked on, but I think 100% they'll have fantasy value.
Like to the point where I think like Grealish, even if he was like at 70 or 80% of what he was at Villa the last year he was there, he could be someone you draft like in the later rounds, and he could be like someone that leads you to like a championship or like contesting.
Yeah. Especially because there won't be that much hype
Yep.
around him. I think it's a really good point. Okay, super briefly, kind of just touched on it. Rodrygo, what's going on there? What's happening? Was there moves that Arsenal or Chelsea were spoken about? I think his wage demands are too high.
Mm-hmm.
What was the last thing you heard, Tico, from the Real Madrid side?
So initially they said they're trying to work it out, but then the last thing that I saw was they want to move him because he's not part of the project, because it is very difficult to move three people. And he said that he prefers playing on the left side more than that. That's his natural position. He also posted something on Instagram or Twitter a couple of days ago where it says everything should work itself out or something along those lines. And it was him at the Bernabeu. So who knows what it means? Very like cryptic. But I think he's an amazing talent. I think if he goes to Arsenal, it'd be very good for him, for Arsenal. And it'd be amazing for me to make fun of Sergey because he's been shitting on Rodrygo nonstop. And I think he'll actually be very good for Arsenal. He'll be a huge upgrade over Martinelli or Trossard. He could create for himself, dribble, score goals, and he's a 3-level scorer as well, right, left, and in there as well, like we saw in the Champions League semis.
I agree. I think he would be great for any team. I mean, any Premier League team, really. But I think Arsenal would probably be the best fit, just in the system they have, and having some other Brazilian, like having a Martinelli there and other Brazilians there that can kind of, So I think that could be a good thing.
And also, like having a coach with the Spanish background, I think will be an easy transition as well. Similar mentality of how they played.
Yeah, that'd be really exciting. We'll see. I think the impediment is the fee Madrid wants and the wages that he wants.
Yeah, the saga continues.
And that was I just want to chat about this briefly while I'm thinking about it. That Nico Williams, I read somewhere, what's so interesting about him is that he's open to moving this year. But the issue is that the team that has him, Sociedad, they want the payment in full. So they're not going to take like
3 years
periodic payments. Yeah, so they need the whole amount up front, which like are so hard for teams to do now.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's on ridiculous wages.
Is he?
He's on like 6 or 7 mil a year, which is really high.
How much
for his age, because it's part of what they're. It's not Sociedad, it's Bilbao. It's part of what Bilbao. What they do is that they just use homegrown players, and they almost never pay transfer fees, and so because of that, they pay all their players out a lot more than other places.
So 146,000 a week
right now.
That's you said 12 million, right? So how much you say?
I think
He's
it's more
on-
than
He's on 200,000 a year,
200
A
thousand
week.
euros. Oh, I'm sorry, a week. Yeah, a week.
200,000
Annually,
euros a week. Yeah.
Yeah,
God damn.
he has a 3-year, $31 million contract.
Yeah. So I mean, and he's 19, he's 20 now maybe.
God, he's a kid.
Yeah, it's a lot. That's a lot of money for a 20-year-old.
22.
20 oh, he's 22. Okay. But
I
yeah,
think-
same thing.
I think the competition for him will be. I think the competition for him will be higher than for to sign Rodrygo just because of the age difference. And Nico Williams has all the hype right now.
Yeah. True. All right, last thing. We kind of talked Sesko or Gyokeres. Gyokeres, who would you rather see at Arsenal hypothetically? I know Gyokeres is kind of linked to United.
Look, Gyokeres had 39 goals, 7 assists, and Sesko had 17 and 5 assists, if I remember correctly.
But one of them was in the
But one was in the Portuguese league and one was in the German league. So it's hard. Gyokeres has done that. He's done it for Coventry, isn't he? The guy who played for Coventry, and he did it in the
yeah.
So that's the maybe a way in on that he can actually do it in England, maybe.
Yeah, but he played 46 games, scored 21 goals in the championship.
That's pretty good too, though. Like 2 and 1, a goal
Yeah.
every 2 games is good. There's a reason he got
It
bought
is.
from Coventry to go to
Yeah.
Porto. You know. So yeah,
in my opinion, I think Arsenal will probably want Gyokeres, but I think Sesko's a better fit.
I mean, in a perfect world, Sesko goes to Arsenal and Gyokeres goes to United, and then we have both of them in the league, and we can see how they do, and just get some more smoke up in here.
I want Matera in there though from Man United.
You think you just for the Akuna Mateta?
That's all I want. That's all I want. Akuna Mateta. What a wonderful phrase.
That's so funny. I think there's no way United makes a bid for Mateta.
Dude, that'll be such a great song when they lose, and they can sing that to him and make
A
something.
Wimboe, a Wimboe.
A lose away, a lose away.
That'd be so good. Okay, next thing. I have a random question that's like not tied. It's kind of tied to some transfer stuff, but it's kind of for Enzo, but it's also for you, Tico, because with Jacob Murphy, who Enzo, you were saying you loved last year, and obviously had a great second half of the season, really came alive. But it's very concerning to me that Newcastle was really in on Mbeumo, and then now there's rumors with Jack Grealish, and it looks like they're looking to get someone else in that attacking line that's like very high profile, which tells me that they don't necessarily believe in Jacob Murphy as like this like long term.
It's a big assumption.
Like this, they don't think that he's like made it as the guy. Like they're definitely open to buying like a big name player in the window. So does that concern you from a transfer like a draft value?
No. They have Champions League, so they want more. They want more depth. That's all I see it as. Do I see it as whoever's in form plays, or do I see it as one player might play in the Premiership more than they play in the Champions League? That would be the only thing that concerns me. Will they play Jacob Murphy in Champions League more and prioritize him, and have Grealish if he was to go there play more Premier League?
But like in the second or third round, you don't want to take that risk then. Right? No. You don't want to be like,
that's a big risk, and you'd have to do a little more research, and it all depends if the trade goes through. It'd be definitely something to look into.
So you're not concerned until you see a big name come.
Yeah.
Okay. That was my random question of the week. Games, Tico, you said you have a game for us?
Yeah. So we'll see how this goes.
Oh my god!
It's gonna be like children's pictures.
No. I think it should be fun. So I think should I do presentation or screen? All right. Let's wait. Don't look at it.
I'm already looking at it.
There we go. All right. Hopefully you guys didn't see. All right. So essentially, I don't know if you guys saw this TikTok thing where
it's like word association.
So it will be like two pictures or like emojis, pictures, whatever. You have to guess who the player is. Okay. Whoever keeps gets the most points wins, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, we just mess around. Let's see.
Just all right. Let me see. All right.
Okay,
so
this
Garnacho.
So left is an image of a goat. Right is what's this guy's name?
Nacho Libre.
Nacho Libre.
So goat Nacho. Yeah. So Garnacho.
There we go. Garnacho.
Okay. Next one.
He looks like Voldemort in this picture.
Oh, he does kind of look scary.
All right. So 1-0 ends.
Mo Salah? I don't know.
1-1. Yep.
How is that?
It's
the first one I got. The first one I got.
Word association.
It's word association. Okay. It's very hard to like make one.
But then that could have been Marmouche.
Ice Cole Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
That's Cole Palmer, the golfer.
And that says an Ice Cube and then Arnold Palmer. Yeah. Ooh, I like that picture too.
Yeah.
Raccoon. Bandit, thief. What's the like, raccoon?
Think of a popular song that was around. Very annoying.
The bricky raccoon jumped over the moon.
Don't know what that song is.
What does the? It's a Beatles song, isn't it? Only to
That's the
find-
first time I hear this.
Okay, so that's not it. Okay, so then another popular song with a raccoon involved.
It was not a. It was more of like a social media popular thing. It was
What
like.
does the squirrel
trending.
say?
It's not a squirrel. No.
What does the fox?
He plays for a London team.
This one is. We're not getting this one. It's
We're
just a
not getting
photo of
this
like it's a fisheye lens photo of a like a raccoon taking a selfie. It looks like.
You guys haven't heard the song Pedro, Pedro, Pedro? No?
Pedro
No,
Neto?
Pedro Porro.
Pedro Poro.
I don't know. That was
was-
never getting that.
That
No,
was
it
a
is.
reach. I know.
That was
okay.
horrible.
Dude, it's hard to.
Then don't do it. Pope. Nick
Pope.
Pope.
Yep.
That's me. I got that one.
Yeah. That's all right.
Easy.
Let's see. I'm very proud of this one.
Okay, it's like someone's hands. There's like chicken pox and a Ford
Pickford.
truck.
Nope.
Pickford. That's pretty good though.
Pickford.
That's how is it
It's
not
not.
Pickford?
It's not Pickford.
It's not.
Um,
What does he have on his arm?
Chicken pox.
Nope. It's not a
Eczema.
chicken pox. Nope. What do you call
Alright.
those things?
Bites.
Nope.
Mosquito.
When you scratch it a lot.
Eczema.
eczema.
No. What is another? What
Rash.
is that thing?
Rashford.
Okay.
Rashford.
Yeah.
Rashford. Okay, Enzo's got
You
it.
got picked for real quick, but you know.
That's funny. Rashford.
All right.
okay.
This is.
Calafiori.
Yep. I would have been so disappointed if you didn't get this one. And
Kala, wait, what's the Kala? The
Ricardo.
cauliflower?
Ricardo.
Oh, Ricardo. Oh,
Yeah.
Ricky. Okay.
Yeah.
That was good. Okay.
all right. I think this is the last one. I don't expect any of you guys to get this one.
Sonics. I don't.
Seattle
can you tell us this guy's
Sonics?
name?
No, disregard the jersey and like the number, all of that, and the team name and the city.
Disregard all of that. So it's
No,
just.
so, who's in the picture and what is he doing?
Who's in the picture?
Slam dunk.
Well, he's a basketball player.
Yeah, it's I don't know. This Sonics.
Lewis Dunk.
Yep, Richard
Oh.
Lewis is dunking in basketball.
Yeah.
Did Enzo to win it with the last two?
I don't
think
know.
he
Is
did.
that
Wait,
4-5?
wait, last one.
Oh my god. Kyle.
Casemiro.
Nope.
Kyle. And what's that thing called?
It's a walking chair. That's our friend Kyle.
Very proud of this one.
Kyle.
Jesus, what is this?
You guys got
Kyle
different-
Walker.
Kyle Walker.
Yes,
oh
Kyle
my
Walker.
god. That's so obvious. Damn it. Enzo
That's
definitely
it?
won.
Man,
I
that's it.
hate this.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, that wasn't fun. I don't like that. No, it'll be
This-
funny.
This
That'll
was
be-
really hard to like come up with.
No, it's
No,
funny.
that was good. That was
That'll
good.
that'll be a very interesting section for people that just listen and have no
Yeah.
video. They'll be what the hell's going on? But oh well. We'll
I
move on
was
from this.
really happy
Spin
with
the wheel. Spin
sound-
the wheel.
Oh,
Spin
Sergey was
the wheel.
guessing it in the thing, Bruno.
Is it
Kyle
time for
Walker
spin the
made me
wheel?
really happy.
Should we do it to spin the wheel?
Yeah, spin the wheel. Just do it once. Just one time. Spin the wheel one time.
One spiel, one spin.
One spin.
Tell me when you can see my screen. Can you
Nope.
see my screen?
Technical difficulties.
Two.
You guys see my ramen?
No, it doesn't.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, boys. We're up to 100 now in my list.
Are you
Wow.
serious?
You
Yeah, I
have
mean,
a
I'm just
penalty.
fucking around.
Yeah,
Alright.
It's
sure
it's
you
kinda
are.
Easy. Oh, yeah.
Sure
Ready?
you are. Look, it's kind of easy. This motherfucker. Go on.
Rose with the funny face.
Spin
the wheel. Oh, we're getting a low number. Oh, this is almost like underwhelming.
Yeah, 'cause we already
You
know.
guys know
We
who
already
this
spoke about
is.
it.
We spoke of it last week. Mohamed Salah. Is there? I mean, you can't blame anyone for taking him first, though, right?
I think if he didn't get it, he would be like, if it wasn't for the African nations, I think that would push you more the first from a lot of people. Because of the African nation, I think that might tip a few people to soccer.
AFCON plus 33. AFCON plus age.
Mhm.
Tips maybe two. Okay,
And if
one
you
more spin.
go,
then.
if you go by the last time he was on AFCON, he had a terrible second half of the season.
One more spin. Spin the wheel. Spin the wheel. Oh, we're going low again?
Oh no, it's 100. Oh, 99.
Jeez, what are these numbers? I have to
I
scroll.
like it. Barely made the list.
Moises Caicedo.
Ooh, 10th round,
fair
9th
vote.
pick.
Yeah, I don't think that's that crazy.
Who's at 98 and who's at 100?
It's a working
Such a
list.
great question.
Mark Gahey, 98.
He had a good season.
And then 100, I put as a meme, as a joke kind of, but Estavio, the new Chelsea guy. I think he might go up.
Yeah, Chelsea biased. All right.
But Moises Caicedo, that's actually that's where I want it. So Moises Caicedo, 7.4 points per start, but he played in 35 games, started every game that he was healthy. Very little of his points come from goals, assists. So, you kind of know what you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
So
last year he was drafted in the last round, 16th.
All right. Let's see.
So yeah. So I don't know. I'm serious about the Moises one. I'm kind of and serious about Gahey. I don't know where Stavio goes. I think we'll have to see after the Club World Cup and see what preseason looks like. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see that kid. He's like, they say he's like the next Neymar.
Didn't they say that about Nkunku?
I didn't say that about Nkunku.
Next Neymar.
He's just giving me a hard time. Okay, we're gonna play the Would You Rather game. Okay, would you rather have Liam Delap or Chris Wood?
Delap. I feel like this one, me and Tigo actually might agree on a few.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you guys would rather have the potential upside of a Chelsea striker but even though he's in a competition with Jackson and maybe one other person, versus the guarantee of Chris Wood.
Probably going to shoot myself in the foot.
Thing.
Yeah, I'm probably going to shoot myself in the foot with this, but I don't think Chris Wood has another season the way he did this season.
Even if he doesn't have another season exactly like he did, he's going to start almost every game that he's healthy, right? That would be the logic. But you guys, okay, so totally.
If you lose a competition to Nico Jackson, you're not an EPL striker.
Oh Jesus! I think you're gonna live to regret that. Maybe not though. Liam Delap might be great. We don't know yet. Okay, next one: Florian Wirtz or Ryan Shaqiri. How do you say it? Shirky.
What?
Who would you rather have?
Wirtz, easy.
Wirtz. Just stability of that team.
Did you see they put a new offer? I think 20 million more.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. So I think for me, it's a toss up. It's from the talent perspective. It's more just about going to a Liverpool team where he's probably going to start every game, and Man City is just so you just don't know what's going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the concern?
Yeah.
All right, next one: Ryan Atnori or Milos Kirkes?
It all depends on. I agree with Tico, but it all depends on if Liverpool play with wing backs or are they going to play a back four. Because if they play a back four and they play the way they did this season, I don't think Milos Kirkes gets upfield as much as he did this season. So I agree. Nori.
Man, I think I'm leaning maybe Kirkes here. I don't know. I think Nori has the highest chance of all these guys. I wouldn't be no one would be shocked if he finishes first defenders overall, right?
No.
But of all of the guys, I think he could be the most disappointing too, just depending on how much playing time he gets and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. He just makes one mistake. He steps out.
Seriously.
Just makes one mistake.
He kind of gets injured a little bit sometimes too. He's not the most dependable. Where a Kirkes plays every game.
No.
Okay, next one: Jurriën Timber or Nathan Collins?
Timber.
Nathan Collins had a phenomenal season. I think he finished third overall in defenders. I don't know how did he finish.
I don't know, but I'll go with Timber.
Collins finished fourth overall in total points. He had 7 assists, 2 goals, 7 assists, which is insane. For
taking Nathan Collins.
You're taking Collins?
Yeah, Timber was underwhelming, and I think with Ben White coming back, California being healthy, and I think they have another Gabriel coming back as well. I think that's gonna be more of a rotation, and I don't know if he's gonna play that many minutes, especially with MLS as well playing left back towards the end.
Yeah, Lewis Kelly as well. You're right.
Yeah,
I agree. But I don't think White is in the picture no more. I think White's.
You think he's out of the picture?
I don't think he's second choice. I think Timber's ahead of him.
Ben White was first choice.
He was at the start of the season before the injury, but now Enzo's saying he does. Doesn't think he is.
Timber doesn't play right back.
I think he can. He can play right back. He played a good amount of right back when he's healthy. His issue too is he hasn't been that healthy.
Yeah. Well, he just came back from that injury, and then he was unhealthy again this season.
Yeah, so that's concerning to me. I think I kind of go Collins too, but I see the Timber the upside of a better team, and I also think that the thing with Nathan Collins is every single year there's always a few defenders that have these pop off seasons and then don't replicate and then go too high. every year there's a few guys like that. Like Ethan Pinnock last year. Like there's always a few guys that do that. So a little concerned, but interesting. Okay, last one. Morgan Gibbs White or Yuri Tielemans?
Oh, I got a
I know
soft
where
spot for.
Enzo's going.
You think I'm going to go Tielemans, but
Yeah.
It all depends. If Gibbs White stays at Forest, I go Gibbs White. If he goes to City, I say no.
You think they'll still buy him?
The rumors are still there. They're still floating about.
Yeah. I go Gibbs White.
My heart is telling me Gibbs White, but my head and statistics I think are telling me Tielemans all the way. When you really look at the numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But Gibbs White had a good end of the season. Very good end of the season.
I think anyone who drafted him is kind of bummed.
Yeah,
like
because that first half of the season you sucked it. Yeah. It's the same with Eze. It wasn't good until the end of the season.
Yeah, kind of. Tielemans 10 points per start.
It's good.
That's really good. Gibbs White, it wasn't that bad. 10.3 points per start. I think Tielemans ended up had more total points, right?
But I also think Tielemans had his like breakout year in Villa because last year he wasn't starting all the matches. Will he be able to duplicate it or replicate the same year? Yeah. Whereas Gibbs White, I think he's done it for like 2-3 years now.
That's a good point. And this was a low for Gibbs White, as opposed to like he had a lower point total this year.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't asked to do as much. I think this year is the first time where he's had a better supporting cast around him with like Alenga and Callum Hudson-Odoi and Yates and all these other guys. And Wood obviously is picking up a lot of the load. Yeah. So actually, okay, I'm being convinced. I think I might go Gibbs White. Just I think there's more there, more potential. But Tielemans, I mean, if Tielemans if he has the season, if this is the new normal for Tielemans, then you'd have to. It'd be hard not to go Tielemans, But you're just betting on Gibbs White having a better season, and Tielemans kind of regressing a little. All right, that's all I have. Anything that you guys want to speak to? Jam-packed, action-packed, loaded with information.
You sound like an American movie, but thank you.
I'll use my credit card.
Coming to a movie near you.
What do you guys think of my new USA jersey?
It's nice. I bought it
just in time to wear it while we lost to Turkey this weekend.
It happens, man.
It happens.
It's a nice jersey, though.
Yeah, I kind of like it. My friend started working at Nike, so I got a little discount.
How close are you with that friend?
I was gonna say
close
right
enough.
Here. All right.
Yeah, let's place an order.
I want the new Tottenham jersey that comes out, New England jersey that comes out.
Yeah.
My next jersey is probably gonna be Wrexham.
Oh You're a big fan, huh?
I like the jersey. The red one's quite nice.
No, they're cool. I mean, Wrexham's objectively, it's like a cool story.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta say. Did you see? There's been a few more names floating around.
Well, Ben Davies just signed a freaking extension at Tottenham.
That was the name I heard, though.
Oh,
I saw they signed an extension.
Horrible.
If you were him, don't you think you'd rather go down and play for Wrexham?
No, because he's getting paid.
Oh, it's the pay.
Yeah, it's the pay, man.
Yeah, and when you're Ben Davies' age, you're thinking about retirement.
And it now makes you think that maybe Son might stay because they're best friends.
Ben Davies and Son.
Yeah, they're like best friends.
I think Son stays.
Just imagine that conversation between them two with those two different accents.
Where would Son really go? I mean, I feel like Son didn't have that bad of a season last year. I also feel like it's really hard to judge a lot of those players on last year because it was such a weird year with Ange and everything.
I think he'll do great with Thomas Frank and the way Thomas Frank plays. He plays like the triangle. He likes to overload on one side, so it could work out for him.
If Frank comes in, Kulusevski, Madison, I think they all are going to be pretty exciting.
I think it'll be big players. Will they be top 10? I don't know, but they could break into the top 20. And
yeah, I think there. When was Madison was drafted in the second round last year?
Take up.
When did you take him?
Good question.
He was drafted high though.
I think it was second or third round.
Yeah, and Kulusevski was drafted in the fourth, but he way overperformed his draft value for the first half of the season. And even Son didn't finish that bad. He finished in the 18th or something overall.
Yeah.
So which is you're fine.
Yeah.
Even though I know you drafted him late in the first round, but still you're getting second round value from him.
Yeah. Tico's not going to draft him anyway. So.
No, of course not.
No, Son.
Son.
Look his face. All right.
Hey, have you guys seen this rumor of Jamie Vardy possibly going to Manchester United?
No.
Because I googled Jamie Vardy because I was just curious where he would go, and everything comes up as Man U.
Really?
Oh fuck! Do you think they run Vardy or fucking Gyokeres? I think they want Gyokeres.
I mean,
Well, I think it would be a significantly cheaper.
Yeah, but
thing.
oh my god, that
also bring on Vardy last minute, like the last 20 minutes. He's not going to be starter.
maybe. All right, Keith.
All right, this has been episode 92 of Draft Offsides. My name is Keith. I'm with Tuco and Enzo. We will see you next week for some more amazing content.
Yeah, all right.
Follow us on Draft Offsides
And all the socials.
and all the socials. Woo!
I think I got. Maybe, what do you guys think? Like we do 3 players next week, and it's
wait, Enzo, I completely forgot about you. You were supposed to. You had a homework assignment and you didn't do it.
which one? The
money ball.
We said we weren't going to do that yet because it's too early.
Oh, you're right. We did say it.
But I say next week we do our top player for the second round that we want to pick, that we think would be the best value. We do the wild card pick, 5th round or further.
I think for draft,
I'm not done, Tico. And then we do the player that we won't touch in the first 3 rounds. I'm done, Tico.
I think it's a little too early for that because there's still like big names might be on the move.
Yeah.
So
I see both sides.
Yeah,
I think what's been good about the last 2 episodes is that we're talking about players, but we're not talking about like exactly where they're gonna go. And if it is, it's like a second, you know.
Yeah.
So I think I'm not mad at what I'm just saying is like maybe just players to avoid or something, but it doesn't need to be tied to rounds and stuff.
No.
Quite yet. What do you think about that, Tico?
yeah, I think that we could like take a deep dive on players, but saying like, oh, especially like when there might be some movements, like if you're talking about next week, where this is going to go, like are people in the first and second round, where this is going to go probably in the second round, it kind of.
Yeah, but we got to do.
He might have moved up. He might have moved up in my rankings a little bit, guys.
We got to do a little bit more. We got to do content, and that's still something good to talk about.
Yeah,
it is good to talk about.
I think we take we could also take like a dive on players that are going to stand. Like we didn't talk Bruno, who committed staying to Manchester United.
We didn't talk about that. That is ridiculous.
So we could talk about like players that are going to be on the teams that we know they're going to play from. Take a dive on them, like doing a Manchester City rankings. What does the Cunha and everything mean for Bruno Fernandes? Like stuff like that. I do think we should like make it a point centric towards like certain teams or certain players.
Yeah, I think what I was kind of saying in the text last night is that I think that trying to go team by team, we're gonna get so bogged down. I think it's talking about like key things. So like that Bruno Fernandes thing is a great example of something we can like have as a line item that we talk about super briefly, and it's really interesting, even if for everyone, like fantasy related or not fantasy related.
Yeah, and then also like talking about like team by team, like obviously if it's like we're talking about Chelsea, Man City, Man United, requires more time. But if we're talking about like Brighton, shouldn't be take more than like 5 minutes.
But I think we just go. Let's just go. We can. I think we go team by team and we find like an interesting, like a couple interesting questions. Yeah, like a storyline. Tigo, question for you though: how bullish are you on Odegaard? Like, are you taking him? Would you take him before like Daniel Nunez?
Man, after like one of our previous podcasts, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, where we talked about Nunez, and then I kind of looked at his performance. Yeah,
and how good they were, how good it was.
Yeah, it's like surprisingly amazing.
It's really good. He finished like 7th overall in total points.
And then, do we know if fantrax is going to make any point adjustments to the rule change?
Got to talk to Ryan.
Yeah, we got to talk to the boss man.
When are we going to get Nate on? Do you know?
He told me he was interested, so he's down. So I think we just got to figure out timing with him because he's in Portugal, so we got to figure out when. But that'll be funny. You guys have never met Nate, right?
No. Well, he lives in Portugal, so.
But he's like a Midwestern boy. He's not like Portuguese.
He never played. He never played on our football team, did he? Did I forget about him?
No, he never did. No.
So it's like an 8-hour difference.
Yeah, so we probably either need to do like an early. Maybe we might need to do like a Monday or Sunday morning episode or something. Like a Sunday morning record.
Saturday morning, yeah.
Saturday morning.
What if we make him accommodate to our schedule?
Wake
up at 6 a.m.
What would be the evening time that he could do? If it would be early, what would be early for him and late for us?
I don't know. I could probably for late for him would be like if we did a 12 midday, and it'll be 8 o'clock for him.
Oh, let's do like an 8 o'clock. Have him wake up at like 6 a.m., 5 a.m.
That's 4 a.m., bro.
He just won't do that.
Whatever.
He'll be like.
Yeah. So we could do if we do 8 a.m. our time, that's 4 o'clock his time, depending on when he gets back from work.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that we could do a morning one.
I'll follow up because I asked him what would be the best time for him, and he we just stopped chatting, so I'll check in with him.
All right, I gotta have dinner, lads.
What's for dinner?
Sopa de pollo.
Okay, sounds good. Hey, congratulations! 104 views on our last episode.
Wow,
thank you.
Wow.
Big kudos to Serg. on that
Thanks,
one.
thanks, Sergey.
I thought you guys were just congratulating me.
No, the better brother.
Look,
So
I
the-
put up a Sporting Lisbon scarf
Oh,
for Portugal.
God, you
And
just
for
trapped.
Nate.
All right, I'll catch you boys.
This is the first scarf I got. This is what started the collection.
love it. All
No
right.
one cares.
I like your haircut, Enzo.
You still look stupid.
All right, have a good one.
All right, mate. See ya.